If you ever wondered what it's like to travel solo in the Balkans with dogs, then this video is for you. We are based in Austria and I took my 2 miniature dachshunds through Hungary to spend a couple of weeks in Serbia, Montenegro and Croatia. My dogs and I love hiking and spending time in nature. We stayed on small farms, houses in the middle of nowhere, but we looked at a few big cities too. This is part 1 of a travel series and I'm really excited to show you our first impressions of Serbia. At the end of this series I will go through the total costs and some tips on solo travel with dogs. Okay, I have rambled way too long and you can see my dogs are patiently waiting and ready to go. Our first stop in Hungary was in a small village called GYÖRSZENTIVÁN. I like to stop in small places to see how the locals live. The waitress was really surprised to see a tourist and all the kitchen staff came out to look at us as they were surprised that someone would stop there. The restaurant was really cozy and the food was good. The girls always get a taste of the local cuisine and I think they gave it a 10 out of 10. Before crossing the border to Serbia, we stayed on a small fruit farm in the south of Hungary, not far from the border. They had 2 really lovely dogs, though Amy was a bit scared of them. Foxy wanted to be friends right away. At the back of the house was an open field with long grass, where the dogs were allowed to run around freely. Look at this amazing red gate made out of a bicycle. The owner had made it himself. I absolutely love this. You can see the ground was really soft and sandy, so Foxy wanted to do some zoomies. We went on a small walk and found some chickens and plenty of fruit trees. As the sun was setting, I made a plan of what I should look at in Belgrade, as that was our next stop. The girls were already getting themselves ready for bedtime, but they needed to do their evening wee. It was time for my morning coffee. Unfortunately, the whole area had no drinkable water as all the fertilizers used to treat the fruit trees had contaminated the groundwater and made it unsafe to drink. Apparently, this had been the case for over 40 years. The only way around this problem would be to drill a new waterhole to 80 meters deep. As the ground was sandy and therefore soft, the family was hoping to do it soon. This made me really appreciate having drinkable tap water at home, something I definitely take for granted. The next day, we continued on our journey and crossed the border to Serbia. It was the first time my dogs left the EU, and so they had to have the rabies blood test done prior to the trip. They already had the EU passports and rabies shots. The northern part of Serbia was really flat as we made our way to Belgrade. I booked an Airbnb by the waterfront with a garage space included. The studio apartment was really modern and I felt really safe in the area. I had an amazing view of the Sava River, which is the major tributary of the Danube. The apartment had everything, including a washing machine. The bathroom also got approved by the dogs. This apartment was absolutely lovely. As it was lunchtime, I headed to the waterfront to get some food. It was a 2-minute walk and the dogs were focused on absorbing all the foreign smells. We found a nice looking restaurant and I chose a traditional Serbian dish called tipci, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I absolutely love tasting local cuisine and well, the girls love food, regardless of what it is. However, I would say they gave it a 10 out of 10 also. It was a 30-minute walk to the city centre. Usually you can walk all along the waterfront, but there are roadworks, so we had to walk along the parallel streets for some of it. Our first stop was the Belgrade Fortress and the KALEMEGDAN Park. We got to enjoy some nice views of the city and watch some street cats. The park was lively with music and a few food stalls. The park is located where the Sava River joins the Danube River. The entrance to both the fortress and the park was free and the place was really dog friendly. across the main entrance of the park, you enter the main shopping street. It was a Sunday and all the shops were open. This is not the case in Austria, so I was surprised to see so many people in the center on a Sunday. We made our way along the high street, which is in the Stari Grad, or the Old Town. Some buildings were absolutely stunning and some looked like they were falling apart. It was a complete mix. We stopped for a drink in the Republic Square before heading towards our next stop, the beautiful Orthodox Church of Saint Sava. I was really excited to see this magnificent building. Dogs are obviously not allowed in the church, but there was an area around it which dogs were not allowed to enter, so the girls made a new friend in the doggy area instead. I would have loved to see the inside of the Saint Sava church, but that is the drawback of solo travel with dogs. Our next stop was the Nikola Tesla Museum, which was a 12-minute walk away. We met a lovely standard dachshund lady that looked absolutely huge next to the girls. It was not common to see dachshunds in Serbia. Generally, people really took to Amy and Foxy. People would video the girls, take pictures or ask to pet them. They were like little celebrities in the Balkans. There was a queue outside the Tesla Museum and obviously dogs are not allowed in, but I wanted to see it from the outside anyway. Just so you know, the entry fee can only be paid in cash, not card. I'm a bit of a tram and bus nerd and I like to look at the colours etc. in the different cities. In Belgrade, the trams are red for any other nerds. We then walked back to our Airbnb at the waterfront. We passed some stray cats along the way. Some places offered small cat shelters and I saw food bowls for them too. If I had a little more time, I would have loved to visit the botanical gardens, but it was getting late and the girls were ready for dinner. We had already walked 12 kilometers that day, so the girls were ready for bed. While the girls napped, I enjoyed the view of the river as it got darker. The lights of the bridge were so fabulous. As the light changed, it just got better and better. The girls had missed their lunchtime nap, so they were not bothered about the view. I'm one of those people that needs a cappuccino in the morning. I even took my milk frother with me. What I didn't realize is that in the Balkans they don't use the Italian-style coffee makers, but only have instant coffee available. I had coffee with me, but nothing to make it in. I just can't drink instant coffee. So lucky for me, there was a cafe opposite the place I was staying, so I could get a proper coffee when I took the girls out for their morning toilet walk. I don't normally eat sugar in the morning, but as I was on holiday, I couldn't resist this Dubai croissant. As soon as the bags are packed, the girls are ready to go. They love to go outside. We left the city and were now heading to a house in the middle of nowhere in Serbia. This was going to be our first glimpse of seeing the Serbian countryside. The thing I had on my list of must-dos was to see the Uvak Meandri. This was the main reason I decided to go to Serbia. I love nature and I was so excited to see this amazing view. I wanted to experience the peace and quiet of the countryside and get to know the Serbian locals. I found a remote Airbnb, which was about an hour's drive from the viewpoints. Sat-navs or the internet do not really work when you are in these remote places, so I had to use a pinpoint on Google Map when I did have the internet, so I could use maps the old-fashioned way. I saw some sweet stray dogs and gave them some food. One looked really old, but they seemed to live in packs and look after each other. There was never any fighting over the food when I fed any of the dogs. This was my first glimpse of the Uvak River. The color was so stunning. Here is a small time lapse of the final rural drive to the remote Airbnb. In part 2, I will show you 2 different stunning Uvak River viewpoints and some more of Serbia. See you in the next video.